Welcome to Mayfidav TV. You are highly welcomed. Please kindly subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you. Efforts to enhance digital infrastructure also gained momentum under Traoré's administration. Investments were made in expanding broadband internet access and improving telecommunications networks, especially in rural areas. This digital push aimed to bridge the digital divide, enabling more citizens to access online education, healthcare services, and e-commerce opportunities. Government services were increasingly digitized to improve efficiency, transparency, and accessibility, making it easier for citizens to interact with public institutions. Additionally, Traoré's government focused on strengthening the legal and regulatory framework to foster a conducive environment for business and investment. Reforms were implemented to streamline bureaucratic processes, reduce corruption, and ensure the rule of law. These measures aim to attract both domestic and foreign investors, boosting economic activities and creating jobs. Special economic zones were established to provide incentives for businesses, including tax breaks and improved infrastructure, encouraging the growth of industries such as manufacturing, technology, and tourism. Healthcare improvements were a priority, with significant investments made in building and upgrading hospitals, clinics, and health centers across the country. Programs to train and recruit more healthcare professionals were implemented, addressing shortages in critical areas. Public health campaigns focused on preventive care, vaccination drives, and awareness of diseases such as malaria, HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis. Efforts to improve maternal and child health were intensified, leading to reductions in infant and maternal mortality rates. Educational reforms aimed to make quality education accessible to all children in Burkina Faso. Investments in building new schools, renovating existing ones, and providing learning materials were prioritized. Teacher training programs were expanded to ensure educators were well equipped to deliver effective instruction. Scholarships and financial aid programs were introduced to support students from low-income families, ensuring that financial constraints did not hinder their educational pursuits. Additionally, vocational training and technical education were promoted to equip the youth with practical skills that match the needs of the job market. Efforts to promote cultural heritage and national identity were also evident. The government supported initiatives to preserve traditional art forms, languages, and customs. Cultural exchange programs were facilitated to promote understanding and appreciation of Burkina Faso's diverse heritage. National holidays and festivals were celebrated with increased fervor, fostering a sense of unity and pride among the population. Environmental sustainability was integrated into development plans. Policies aimed at promoting sustainable agriculture, reforestation, and conservation of natural resources were implemented. Renewable energy projects, such as solar and wind power, were expanded to reduce the country's carbon footprint and reliance on fossil fuels. Efforts to combat desertification and protect water sources were intensified, ensuring the long-term viability of the nation's natural resources. Sports and youth engagement initiatives were given a boost, with investments in building sports facilities, organizing national and international competitions, and supporting young athletes. These programs aim to foster physical fitness, teamwork, and discipline among the youth, while also providing them with opportunities to excel in sports and gain national and international recognition. Tourism development strategies were devised to leverage Burkina Faso's rich cultural and natural heritage. Infrastructure improvements, promotional campaigns, and partnerships with travel agencies aimed to attract more tourists to the country. This not only generated revenue, but also created jobs and supported local businesses, contributing to economic diversification. Public safety and security were enhanced through reforms in the police and military. Training programs, better equipment, and improved coordination among security agencies aimed to reduce crime and ensure the safety of citizens. Community policing initiatives were introduced to build trust between law enforcement and local communities, fostering cooperation and maintaining public order. Efforts to support the arts and creative industries included funding for cultural festivals, museums, and artistic projects. Programs were developed to support local artists, musicians, and filmmakers, providing them with platforms to showcase their work and contribute to the country's cultural identity. These initiatives not only enriched the cultural landscape but also promoted national pride and international recognition of Burkina Faso's artistic talents. Traoré's leadership style emphasized inclusivity and participatory governance. Regular consultations with community leaders, civil society organizations, and ordinary citizens ensured that diverse voices were heard in the policymaking process. This approach not only strengthened democracy, but also built a sense of collective ownership over national development efforts. His foreign policy was marked by a commitment to regional integration and cooperation. Burkina Faso actively participated in regional organizations such as the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the African Union, contributing to efforts aimed at promoting peace, stability, and economic development in the region. Diplomatic relations were strengthened with both neighboring countries and global partners, fostering collaboration on issues of mutual interest. In terms of disaster preparedness and response, the government developed comprehensive strategies to deal with natural and man-made disasters. Early warning systems, emergency response teams, and public education campaigns were put in place to mitigate the impact of disasters and ensure a swift and effective response when they occurred. As Traoré's tenure progressed, the cumulative effects of these policies and initiatives began to transform Burkina Faso. Economic growth rates improved, social indicators showed positive trends, and the overall stability and security of the country were enhanced. The sense of hope and optimism among the population was palpable, reflecting the significant strides made under his leadership. By addressing a broad range of issues with a holistic and inclusive approach, Traoré's administration laid a strong foundation for sustainable development. The focus on improving the quality of life for all citizens, promoting equality, and fostering economic growth created a more resilient and dynamic society. The legacy of his leadership was seen in the tangible improvements across various sectors, demonstrating the impact of effective governance and visionary leadership. The geopolitical implications of Burkina Faso's internal struggles are profound, as the nation's quest for sovereignty intersects with broader global interests. Ibrahim Traoré's rise to power marked a pivotal shift in Burkina Faso's approach to foreign relations and domestic policy. His administration's moves to distance itself from Western influences, particularly France, reflect a broader trend among African nations seeking to assert their independence and redirect their resources towards national development rather than foreign enrichment. This realignment has not been without significant resistance. External forces, recognizing the potential loss of influence and economic benefits, have engaged in covert operations to undermine Traoré's regime. These efforts often involve exploiting existing divisions within the military and political structures of the country. By manipulating these internal conflicts, external actors aim to destabilize the government and install a regime more favorable to their interests. This strategy is part of a larger pattern where former colonial powers and other global players attempt to maintain control over resource-rich regions by any means necessary. The failed coup attempts against Traoré reveal the extent to which Burkina Faso's political landscape is influenced by external pressures. The involvement of both current and former military personnel in these attempts underscores how deeply ingrained and widespread these external manipulations are. These individuals, often motivated by personal grievances or financial incentives, become pawns in a larger game of international power politics. The role of international players, particularly those with a history of involvement in Africa, cannot be understated. Countries that previously had significant influence over Burkina Faso are now facing a challenge from a leadership that seeks to redefine its nation's trajectory. This redefinition involves not only breaking away from old colonial ties, but also navigating the complex landscape of global diplomacy and economic competition. In response to these challenges, Traoré's government has pursued a strategy of diversifying its international partnerships. By seeking stronger ties with nations like Russia and exploring new economic alliances, Burkina Faso aims to reduce its reliance on former colonial powers and build a more balanced and self-sufficient economy. This approach includes investing in critical sectors such as agriculture and mining, which are crucial for the nation's development and stability. The government's commitment to improving agricultural practices and developing its mineral resources reflects a broader strategy to enhance national self-sufficiency. By focusing on these areas, Burkina Faso hopes to create economic opportunities for its citizens and reduce its vulnerability to external pressures. This includes initiatives to advance sorghum cultivation and modernize farming practices, as well as efforts to harness the nation's rich mineral resources for local benefit. Despite these efforts, the political and economic challenges facing Burkina Faso are significant. The persistence of coups and political instability underscores the difficulty of achieving true sovereignty in a context where external actors are determined to maintain their influence. The government's ability to navigate these challenges and secure its position will be crucial in determining the country's future stability and development. The situation in Burkina Faso highlights the broader dynamics of power and influence in the international arena. As nations like Burkina Faso strive to assert their independence and chart their own course, They face significant obstacles from established global powers seeking to maintain control over strategic regions and resources. The outcome of this struggle will shape not only the future of Burkina Faso, but also the broader geopolitical landscape of the region.